I never thought I'd be the type to fall for a romance scam. I'm an educated woman with a degree in media and a promising career. I had always prided myself on my ability to see through deception, to read people, to understand their motives. But when it happened to me, all those skills and instincts seemed to vanish, and I was left feeling foolish, ashamed, and heartbroken. As a 34-year-old executive at a bustling film studio in Hollywood, my days are filled with high-stakes meetings, script evaluations, and production deadlines. Juggling the demands of the entertainment industry keeps me on my toes, but I thrive on the creative energy and constant challenges that come with bringing stories to life on the big screen. I had recently become single again, mostly due to the relentless demands of my job as an executive in the crazy and wild world of filmmaking. Hoping to find someone who could understand and relate to the pressures of the industry, I decided to try online dating, searching specifically for a man with a background in film. The idea was that we'd have a shared understanding of the chaotic schedules and high-stakes environment that came with our careers. When my friends found out I was diving into the world of online dating, they practically hijacked my profile creation process. It started innocently enough with a few glasses of wine and my laptop on the coffee table. But soon it spiraled into a full-blown operation. They debated everything from my profile picture. No, not that one, it's too serious. Use the one where you're at the beach. In your bio content, say you love indie films. It's quirky and sophisticated. They even suggested adding strategic job mentions to attract men who get the film industry. Things like throw in the line I work with Spielberg somewhere. Just for fun. By the end of the night, my profile was less a personal ad and more a collaborative screenplay written by over-enthusiastic friends. It seemed harmless at first, even fun. But after posting my profile, it quickly became apparent that me and my carefully crafted profile were attracting a very eclectic mix of suitors. One guy messaged me solely about his screenplay for a zombie musical. Another insisted we meet only in locations with creative energy like abandoned warehouses or old theatres. Then there was a handsome man named Mark, aptly named because his words always seemed to be on the mark. He endeared himself to me right off when he told me how much he loved my accent. The oldest come online in the playbook, but it seemed to have worked on me. He claimed he worked in the film industry, but working full-time in New York City. He said he travelled a lot for his job, but that could be changing soon because he had recently been offered a well-paying job in the film industry in Southern California. This job would mean more money and less travel. So it was a perfect time for him to enter into a long-term relationship with someone. Being in the same profession and him moving to Southern California seemed all too coincidental and convenient. It really should have been a huge red flag. But, stupidly, the way he wove his words made me overlook any red flags he was heaving at me. Now, looking back, I can't help but laugh at the irony. My friends, my so-called co-conspirators, had pitched in to help me find love and unwittingly led me straight into a cleverly crafted scam. Even now, we joke about it. They tease me about the time I almost starred in my own personal horror comedy, courtesy of the dating app. And I joke back, calling them my partners in crime who should never be allowed near a dating profile again. Anyways, back to my own personal horror story. My interactions with this Romeo in waiting started innocently enough with a message on a dating app. As I mentioned previously, my suitor's name was Mark, and he seemed kind, intelligent, and deeply interested in me. He told me he worked as a cinematographer in New York, known for his stunning visual storytelling and innovative camera techniques. He even boasted about his nickname from people he worked with. He was known as the Maestro of Light. I immediately thought of the Seinfeld episode with some kook named the Maestro who Elaine had fallen in love with. I really should have used this Seinfeld episode as a roadmap for my own Maestro interactions. But we connected over shared interests and life experiences, and soon our conversations moved from the app to phone calls and emails. His voice was soothing, his words filled with care and affection. He spoke of a future together, of meeting in person, and of the life we could build. I had been single for a while, and his attention made me feel seen and valued in a way I hadn't in a long time. Mark often spoke passionately about his latest project, an indie film he was shooting overseas. He had invested much of his money into this passion project, believing it would be his breakout piece. Just as Mark neared completion of his masterpiece, he ran into unexpected troubles with the local government. They had suddenly imposed hefty filming restrictions along with hefty fines. Desperate to resolve these issues and fearing his investment would be lost, he reached out to me, pleading for a loan to get through this final hurdle. He assured me that once the film was finished and sold, he would pay me back in full and then some. He sounded so desperate, and I wanted to help the man I had grown to care for so deeply. It started with a small loan, something I could manage, but soon it escalated. There was always another problem, another delay, another reason why he needed just a little more money. In total, I ended up sending him over $110,000. The realization that I had been scammed came slowly, but when it hit, it was devastating. Mark vanished, and with him, all the dreams I had built up in my mind. I felt an overwhelming sense of guilt. How could I, someone with my education and background, have been so naive? The shame was suffocating. I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone at first. I was too embarrassed, too afraid of what people would think of me, but I couldn't keep it inside forever. One evening, after weeks of sleepless nights and relentless self-blame, I broke down and confided in my closest friends. I expected them to judge me, to confirm my worst fears about myself. But instead, they were compassionate, understanding, and supportive in a way I never could have imagined. They reassured me that being scammed didn't make me stupid or weak. It made me human. They reminded me that anyone can be vulnerable when they're lonely or yearning for connection. With their love and support, I began to heal. They helped me report the scam, and though I knew the money was gone, taking action gave me a sense of empowerment. Slowly, I started to forgive myself. I realized that the scam wasn't a reflection of my intelligence or worth, but rather a testament to the manipulative power of these predators. My friends helped me see that my value wasn't diminished by this experience, it was strengthened by the lessons I learned. Now I share my story not because I want sympathy, but because I want others to know that it can happen to anyone. Romance scams prey on the heart, not the mind, and they can strike even the most prepared and educated individuals. If my experience can help someone else avoid the same fate, then at least something good can come from it. And if it does happen, it's important to remember that you're not alone, and that with the right support, you can move past the pain and regain your sense of self.
Hello everybody, I'm Nick Henley from ScamTV. So as we've seen from this heartbreaking story, even the most cautious individuals can fall victim to the deceptive tactics of romance scammers. In this case, the scammers used a method known as mirroring. This technique is all too common in the world of online scams. Scammers study their targets, often claiming to share the same profession as them, the same interests or life experiences, to help build a false sense of trust and connection. It is a calculated move to lower your defenses and make you feel like you've met your kindred spirit. In speaking with this victim, she indicated that she tried on numerous occasions to ask her scammer, known as Mark, questions relative to their shared industry, which was filmmaking. Whenever she did, Mark responded rather vaguely and moved quickly onto a new topic. Looking back on it, she said this should have been another red flag to her. He probably didn't know the first thing about cinematography or filmmaking. So in order not to expose himself, he avoided the questions or gave BS responses. But there are ways to protect yourself. Always be skeptical of someone who seems too good to be true, especially if they mirror your background too closely. If their background mirrors yours, go ahead and have some fun with them. Ask them questions about your shared industry, which you know are clearly wrong. Let's just call this our BS detector test. For example, in this story, the scammer said he was a cinematographer. So ask him, can you tell me how many megapixels are in a frame of 35 millimeter film? I have asked a couple cinematographers. I know this same question, and they had differing answers. I heard it's somewhere between a lot and infinity. So what do you think, Mark? Tell me. If you get a response like, baby, I don't feel like talking about work, then tell them, baby, I don't like being scammed, and say, hasta la vista, baby. Always verify the person's identity through independent means and never ever send money to someone you met online. If their story doesn't add up, or if they start asking for financial help, that's a red flag, big time. Remember, genuine connections develop over time, and never rely on urgency or financial transactions. So hopefully you learned a little something today from our scam victim story, and thank you to her for coming forward with that story. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and as always, please stay alert for scams. If you or someone you know has been targeted by a romance scammer, don't be afraid to speak out and seek support. Together we can stamp out scams and protect others from falling into these traps. Please take the time to like this video and subscribe to ScamTV. Thank you very much and have a great day.